Hello, thanks again for joining us. I'm Bob Benjy of Benjy Law Corporation, here today to talk to you about concerns of post-judgment collection work. Benjy Law Corporation is a boutique litigation firm handling real estate, business, financial disputes, collections, and in particular, my favorite is post-judgment collection work, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Today's specific topic in this series is the various options available for figuring out where the assets are. Because as a judgment creditor or winner of a money judgment in California, it is incumbent on you to go out and collect the judgment. The judgment debtor doesn't always just hand over the money that they owe. And they may try to play games with you, they may try to hide assets. They often do this. So it's incumbent upon you now to enter the second phase of litigation after potentially many months of litigating to win the judgment. Now you got to enter the second phase of litigation to go out and collect it. And today's video is going to be relatively brief. It's just a real quick overview of the various methods and tools available to a California judgment creditor for A, figuring out what's out there as far as assets are concerned, and B, going out and collecting those. But again, it's just an overview, and this is not intended as legal advice. This is merely educational and marketing materials for Benjy Law Corporation. So please do seek the advice of counsel. Diving into the materials, first and foremost, hopefully you've done your homework on the judgment debtor before you even bothered suing, because if the judgment debtor doesn't have any assets to begin with in their name, you may not have, it's probably not wise to have wasted a lot of time and energy pursuing them, especially if they don't have any insurance coverage for the underlying conduct. But assume that you did some general research and you know that the judgment debtor does have assets. And now the question is, what do you do about it? So what you want to do is, even before you get your judgment, and perhaps afterwards, you want to hire a private investigator, a licensed private investigator, an ethical one. And there are good ones. You need to know where to find them. You go out and hire one, and you provide that private investigator with the social security number information, perhaps the driver's license information, the full name of the judgment debtor or the would-be future judgment debtor. And you pay this private investigator to go out and figure out where the assets are at. That private investigator can help you do real property searches throughout the state of California and even sometimes outside the state of California. And often, those private investigators have resources available to them that will help them to be able to find bank account information, or at least be able to tell you that the judgment debtor is believed to have a bank account at such and such bank. And even independent of a private investigator, you yourself may have that information at your fingertips and not even know it. Because if you've done business with this judgment debtor in the past, which you very well may have, which may have gotten you into this mess in the first place, you may have received a check, or you may have provided a check to that judgment debtor, and that check would have went through the banking system, and you would have received back your check after the process. And if you flip that check over after it's been cashed, there'll be information on the back of the check that may disclose to you where the judgment debtor banks. So it may disclose to you, for example, that the judgment debtor took your check and deposited at JP Morgan Bank, Chase Bank. And so that's valuable information. You want to look for that, and you may be able to use that. So that's even separate and apart from anything the private investigator may be able to help you with. So between searching real property records, between hiring a private investigator to help with that, and also hiring a private investigator to help you find bank accounts, that private investigator may also be able to help you find what's called securities accounts, which are accounts at securities brokerages, which may include potentially large sums of valuable securities that you could levy on later. Now, levying writs of execution is a topic that we will discuss later. It is a detailed topic, so it's beyond the scope of today's conversation. But those are some ideas for figuring out where assets may be located. If the judgment debtor is a business, there are also other ways of focusing in on assets there as well, including doing UCC searches to see where assets may be located, et cetera, et cetera. So do consult your attorney. Feel free to find us and contact us in Los Angeles at benjylaw.com. That's Benjy Law Corporation at www.benjylaw.com. BenjyLaw, like yes, LAW.com. Thank you, and I hope that you will give us the opportunity to serve you.